everybody, it's me, Mel Byron again, coming to you again as usual from outdoors, but this time not from my beloved Highgate Woods, which is over there, but from my back garden, because like lots of you, I'm working at home, staying at home, staying indoors, keeping safe, and hopefully keeping everybody else safe as well, and I hope you are too, unless of course your job requires you to be out, in which case you're doing great things and keep doing them. But if you're used to working in an office and not used to working at home by yourself, you might be kind of missing the team. And it's about the team that I really want to talk today. What is a team? What is a team? I mean, the standard definition is that it's a group of people with a common goal, striving to meet a common goal. Does a team, therefore, have to be in the same place in order to do that? Well, I think unequivocally not. I have myself managed teams from afar, that we most of us didn't work in the same office, and there are ways to make that work if you want to get a sense of cohesion. You don't, I mean, really, it's all about living your values, isn't it? And as the team leader, I saw it very much as my job to instill the values, the things that really meant to me and I believed to the company, which was care for each other, care for our customer, that level of kindness. And I've talked about kindness before. You don't have to be together to feel that if you've got a level of cohesion already. I'm rubbish at drawing, by the way, but I thought I'd draw this. Oh, here we go. Here, this little demonstration of how we can work together as teams whilst not being necessarily in the same place. So imagine that these are like two team members, and you can go along separately, then come together for a meeting, work separately, come together for a meeting, but in between we have these other touch points, which could be, nowadays we've got all kinds of things, can't we? We can have some group chats, we can have emails or whatever. But actually, the way I've drawn it here, I know very badly, is that they are quite spaced out, and that we don't necessarily need to be together all the time. And if we're living our values and we've got our eye on the values and the goal, and we know what our goal is and we know what our contribution is to it, then that should be fine. We should be able to work together without necessarily being in the same room. But I would say that actually those touch points, the group chats, and perhaps even a virtual daily meeting, a virtual daily cup of tea, that's what I would advocate. A nice bit of regularity, because that's really helpful to us when we're working at home. We can, I mean, obviously, being at home means we have a little bit more flexibility, but I'm all for putting a bit of structure into the day, and that way that each of us knows that each of us is contactable all within the same time or time zone, if that's at all possible. And then maybe perhaps schedule a team get together, team cup of tea for say 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you don't necessarily need to be talking about topics of work during that virtual cup of tea. The main thing is that the team is coming together. There's some cohesion there, because if we're coming up against blockages, things we need to discuss with people, we shouldn't be waiting for that time. Should be, hey, get on the group chat, get on an email and say, hey, I've got this issue and I need to chat with somebody about it. I think that's really important. I think, as I said, I've done some writing for you. Here we go. Values. Let's remember that even if we're not together, if we know what our team values are and we're living our team values, then we should be absolutely fine. What are our team values? They remain the same even if we're not in the same building. A key element of those values should be, and if you are the team leader, listen up, guys, and to all of us, trust, because that's how we can function together as a team in any context. But particularly now, I think trust is really important. If you are the team leader, trust that your team is getting on with what they need to do. Colleagues, trust that your other colleagues are doing their part. For goodness sake, don't do any micromanagement, and don't expect people to be on call all the time just because they're out there, you can't see them, doesn't mean that you should be trying to reach out to them all the time. I mean, we've been told, for example, that we should try and minimize contact and that we can go out and do our shopping. It might be that going out and doing your shopping at, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock in the afternoon is the best time to do it, because that minimizes contact with other people. That's technically the working day, but you know what? Just do it, and don't worry if your team member's not on call like that. They might be stuck in a queue in Sainsbury's, which is a legit thing to do. Work is okay. We're supposed to work 35, 40 hours a week. We will probably do that, but it doesn't matter, because we can start work at 8 o'clock. Our commuting time can now be working time. So we've got to have a bit of trust and be a bit flexible. I'm all for putting a bit of rigidity around the day, but within that sort of flexible rigidity. Does that make sense? It sounds like an oxymoron, but I think it's a really important thing to do. So trust that your people are getting on with their work. Now, some people might say, what if I've got an idea? What if I've got a sticky thing that I want to talk through? That's fine. Get on and do that. What if we need to do brainstorming? Now, we all get told about, let's brainstorm an idea. The thing is, you can actually do quite a lot of work. If there's a new idea, and believe me, this is a time for new ideas, because this is a good time to do strategizing. Our businesses may have changed fundamentally by the time we get back into the office. So thinking about new strategies post lockdown are a very good thing to do. So the nature of how we deal with our customers, the nature of how much money our customers will have to spend on us may actually change quite radically. So thinking about new ideas and strategizing this is a good time to do that. But you don't need to do it with other team members in the room, or even on the group chat or virtually or whatever. I'll tell you about this. There was an experiment was conducted in America some time ago about brainstorming, and what they did was they took two groups of people, and they put one group of people in a room together and told them to brainstorm some ideas. The other group of people, they were told to go off by themselves, think about the ideas, and then bring them to a group meeting after they'd thought about them individually. Guess which group came up with more ideas, more practicable ideas than the other? Yeah, it was the group that had gone off and done the thinking by themselves. So even if you're not a natural introvert in the Myers-Briggs sense of, thinking up stuff by yourself, even if you're more perhaps the extrovert who needs to be throwing those ideas around with other people, it is a good idea to try and think up stuff by yourself, come up with your own ideas, get your strategies together before you then share with the team. And of course, that again relies on an amount of trust that everybody should listen, take the ideas in. It might not be the idea you would have come up with, but listen, take it on board, mull it over, and think, okay, let's see if this will work. Throw them around a bit. So you can actually do brainstorming by yourself. And I think that's really, really important to be able to do. People are different. Some people will totally be on board with that. As I say, some people are natural extroverts, and it might be a bit new and a bit difficult for them. What I think we have to remember as teams, and I'm very, very keen on this when I do my team building training, is that to remember the gifts that we all bring to the team. People talk about personality types and stuff, and like, are you a plant, or are you a starter finisher? That's all relevant, and it's kind of the same thing. But I think each of us has different gifts to bring to the team, and a really good team works well when we all know what the gifts are that we bring, and everybody else recognizes them, and there's trust that those gifts together will actually make the team work most successfully. So I think of them as being gifts and doing gifts. So a being gift, a thing that you are. You might be an introvert, you might be an extrovert. Introverts are good because they may not say much, but they see what's going on, so they have a good perspective. Extroverts are the ones that you can maybe put out there for a presentation with a client or something. And then doing gifts, some people are good organizers, some people are not. And have different doing gifts that they're good at. So think about the gifts that the team has, and that's a really good exercise to do next time you're together, is to think about your gifts, because I think if we value each other individually, then we can value each other as a team. And we all know that if we're working to our strengths, to our gifts, that is what motivates us to work better. So let's take this difficult time of lockdown as a time of opportunity. It will be a time of change, and certainly once we get back to quote unquote normal, that will definitely be a time of change. So do think about that. That's all from me. If you want to send me a message,